Did you know that a simple fruit sitting in your kitchen right now could be quietly damaging your heart in ways you'd never suspect? It sounds unthinkable, almost unbelievable. But after decades of caring for older adults in cardiac units across America, I've seen far too many patients arrive with heart problems that weren't caused by disease alone. Some were triggered by everyday foods they trusted completely. I'm Dr. Thomas, and what I'm about to share may challenge everything you've ever believed about healthy eating after age 60. These aren't exotic tropical fruits or rare ingredients. I'm talking about the fruits you pack in lunch bags, the ones you blend into smoothies, the ones you've eaten your entire life without a second thought. But as your body changes with age, these familiar choices can interact with medications, strain your arteries, disrupt your heart's rhythm, and slowly destroy the balance that keeps your heart functioning. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly which 5 fruits can pose hidden risks to older adults, why they become dangerous only after age 60, and what steps you can take today to protect your heart before irreversible damage occurs. Stay with me. What you're about to learn may add years to your life. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Grapefruit. The hidden fruit that can quietly damage your heart after age 60. For most of our lives, grapefruit has carried the image of a clean, healthy start to the morning, a bright bowl on the breakfast table, a symbol of discipline and well-being in American culture. But as we cross into our 60s, 70s, and beyond, our bodies change in ways we often don't see or feel. The heart becomes more sensitive, medications become more essential, and the foods we once considered harmless can start interacting with those medications in ways that place enormous strain on the very organ keeping us alive. And few foods are more deceptively dangerous for older adults than grapefruit. What makes grapefruit so concerning is not its sweetness or acidity, but the powerful compounds hidden in its flesh, furanocoumarins. These chemicals interfere with an enzyme in the liver, responsible for breaking down over 50 commonly prescribed medications, including some of the most important drugs older Americans rely on to stay alive. Statins for cholesterol, calcium channel blockers for blood pressure, antiarrhythmics for irregular heartbeat, and even certain blood thinners. When grapefruit blocks this enzyme, the medication in your bloodstream doesn't simply stay at normal levels. It climbs far higher than intended, sometimes doubling or tripling without any warning sign. For the aging heart, this silent rise can be catastrophic. Excess statin concentration can inflame and weaken muscle tissue, including the heart muscle itself. Elevated levels of blood pressure medication can drive your pressure so low that your heart struggles to pump enough blood to your brain, triggering dizziness, fainting, or sudden collapse. And when antiarrhythmic drugs accumulate, they can disrupt the heart's electrical rhythm so severely that a stable heartbeat becomes a dangerous one. What looks like a simple fruit on your plate can, without your knowledge, create a storm inside your chest, one capable of destroying the careful balance your heart depends on. Many older adults never suspect grapefruit as the cause of their symptoms. They believe it is age, stress, or simply one of those days, not realizing that the very breakfast they proudly chose for their health is quietly damaging their heart. No doctor can monitor the exact moment your medication level spikes. No nurse can warn you when your liver enzyme shuts down. This is the kind of danger that moves silently, slowly, and very personally, because it depends on what you eat, even when everything else in your life is being managed properly. The truth is not that grapefruit is a bad fruit, it is simply a powerful one. Too powerful for many hearts over 60, especially when combined with life sustaining medication. And the most heartbreaking part is that many seniors continue eating it daily, unaware that this small habit could be placing their heart at risk of real, irreversible harm. But if grapefruit can do this much damage without anyone noticing, what other everyday fruits could strain or even destroy the heart of an older adult? The next one may surprise you even more. If you're still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment number one below to let me know you're with me. Now let's move on to point number two. Two, bananas, the comfort fruit that can quietly overload and damage an aging heart. For decades, bananas have been the comforting fruit of American households. Soft, familiar, gentle on the stomach, and easy to eat even when appetite is low. Many older adults reach for a banana believing it to be one of the safest choices they can make. But as the heart grows older and kidney function begins to decline, even a fruit as ordinary as a banana can become unexpectedly dangerous. It is a truth few seniors ever hear, and yet it affects millions who unknowingly place their heart under silent strain each morning. The concern lies not in the taste nor in the calories, but in the fruit's extraordinarily high potassium content. Potassium is vital for every heartbeat. It controls the electrical signals that tell your heart when to contract and when to rest. But after age 60, especially for those living with hypertension, diabetes, heart failure, or kidney disease, the body no longer clears potassium the way it once did. The kidneys slow down. Blood levels rise more easily. And this is where the danger begins, because too much potassium does not warn you. There is no pain, no tightness in the chest, no early whisper from your body that something is wrong. But inside, the excess potassium is interfering with the delicate electrical rhythm of your heart, making each beat less stable, less coordinated, and more fragile than you realize. One banana by itself is not the enemy. The true threat comes when bananas are eaten daily, sometimes 2 or 3 at a time, without understanding how they interact with the medications so many older Americans depend on. Drugs like ACE inhibitors, ARBs, and potassium-sparing diuretics are commonly prescribed for heart disease and high blood pressure. These medications already raise potassium levels as part of their therapeutic effect. When combined with potassium-rich foods, the result can be a sudden and dangerous surge in blood potassium, powerful enough to slow the heartbeat to a crawl or send it spiraling into a deadly arrhythmia. For some seniors, this rise can become the silent force that weakens or even destroys the heart's rhythm altogether. The most frightening part is how quietly it happens. Many older adults believe fatigue, weakness, or an unusual heaviness in the chest is simply age catching up with them. They never suspect their morning banana. They never imagine that something so familiar, something they have eaten their entire lives, could now be damaging their heart without leaving a trace of warning. And by the time symptoms become obvious, sudden dizziness, a skipped beat, or a fainting spell, the heart may already be overwhelmed. This does not mean bananas must disappear entirely from your life. It means your heart deserves awareness, respect, and intention. Every food choice at this stage of life matters, and the fruits that once supported your health may now require moderation, balance, and medical guidance. But if a simple, harmless looking banana can quietly disrupt the heartbeat of an older adult, what happens when we look at fruits that deliver concentrated sugars in a form the aging heart struggles even more to handle? The answer lies in the next fruit, and its danger is even more deceptive. 3. Dried fruits. The sweet trap that can slowly damage an aging heart. Dried fruits carry a warm familiarity for many older Americans. They remind us of trail mix on family vacations, school lunches packed with care, or the small handful of raisins enjoyed with morning oatmeal. They seem innocent, natural, wholesome, and comforting. But as the heart grows older and blood vessels lose their youthful resilience, dried fruits can become a hidden source of stress that quietly pushes the cardiovascular system toward danger. What feels like a small, harmless snack can, over time, overwhelm the heart in ways most seniors never imagine. The danger begins with concentration. When fruit is dried, the water is removed, but the sugars remain, condensed into a dense, potent form. A small handful of raisins or dried apricots contains the same sugar load as an entire bowl of fresh fruit, yet it looks deceptively small and harmless in the palm of your hand. For an aging body, this sudden dose of fructose enters the bloodstream quickly, driving blood sugar upward in sharp, aggressive spikes. And each spike forces your blood vessels to expand and contract under pressure, a stress the older heart struggles to handle. Repeated over months and years, these surges contribute to inflammation inside artery walls, thickening them, stiffening them, and creating the conditions where plaque can build silently. This is where the real danger lies. The combination of high sugar load and rapid absorption doesn't just affect your waistline. It affects the very tissue that keeps your heart alive. Elevated triglycerides rise in response, clogging the bloodstream with fats that encourage plaque growth. Over time, this process can narrow the coronary arteries that feed the heart itself, setting the stage for angina, arrhythmia, or even a heart attack. What looks like a harmless snack can, in reality, inch you closer to a moment of crisis. The emotional trap is just as powerful. Many seniors turn to dried fruits because they feel easy, portable, and healthy. But manufacturers often add even more sugar or coat the fruit in syrups that accelerate the damage. And because dried fruits are small, it becomes incredibly easy to overeat without realizing it. A few extra pieces, a second handful, these choices add up. The heart, already working against age-related stiffness and reduced cardiac output, must push against thicker blood, higher glucose levels, and more inflammatory stress than it was designed to endure at this stage of life. That cumulative burden can damage your heart slowly, quietly, and relentlessly. What makes this risk so frightening is how invisible it is. You won't feel the sugar tightening your arteries. You won't sense the triglycerides rising. The damage unfolds silently, and many older adults only discover the consequences after a severe event, a hospitalization, a frightening arrhythmia, a cardiac scan showing dangerous narrowing. By then, the heart has already paid the price. This does not mean you must fear every raisin or dried apricot, but it does mean your heart deserves caution, awareness, and restraint, especially now, when each decision matters more than ever. And if the concentrated sugars in dried fruits can place such strain on the heart, imagine what happens with fruit stored in heavy syrups, where danger is hidden not just in the fruit but in the liquid surrounding it. That next threat is even more insidious and far more common in American households. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 1 below to let me know you're here. Now let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Canned fruits and syrup. The hidden sweetness that can slowly damage and weaken an aging heart. For generations, canned fruits have been a symbol of comfort in American homes. The soft peaches, served at Sunday dinner, the sweet pears offered to grandchildren, the easy-to-open cans kept in the pantry just in case. They are familiar, convenient, and often seen as a gentle alternative for older adults who have difficulty chewing or digesting fresh foods. Yet, behind this sense of comfort lies a danger far greater than most seniors realize. When fruit is packed in heavy syrup, it stops being a heart-friendly choice and becomes something far more harmful, especially for a heart that has already carried decades of work. What makes canned fruit so dangerous is not the fruit itself, but the syrup surrounding it. That syrup is not just sweet, it is a concentrated solution of sugar and, in some brands, added sodium. Two forces that work against an aging heart with an almost ruthless efficiency. The moment this syrup enters your bloodstream, it triggers a sharp spike in blood sugar. For an older adult, especially one living with diabetes, prediabetes, or insulin resistance, that spike becomes a direct insult to the blood vessels. High sugar levels inflame the lining of your arteries, making them less flexible, less able to expand, and more vulnerable to plaque formation. Over time, these repeated sugar hits can damage your heart in ways that remain silent until the day your chest tightens or your breath shortens without warning. But the danger does not stop with sugar. Many canned fruits contain added sodium, something older Americans often overlook because fruit shouldn't have salt. Yet it does, and that sodium forces your body to hold on to water. For a younger heart, this might cause mild swelling. For an aging heart, already working against stiff arteries and reduced pumping power, this extra fluid can become overwhelming. It thickens the blood, raises blood pressure, and forces the left ventricle to push harder with each beat, slowly wearing down the muscle that keeps you alive. In people with heart failure or high blood pressure, even a single can of syrup-soaked fruit can trigger days of strain the heart is no longer strong enough to handle. What makes this risk especially frightening is how deceptively wholesome canned fruits appear. They look soft, soothing, harmless. Many older adults eat them daily, believing they are making a safe, gentle choice. But the heart feels every gram of sugar, every milligram of sodium, every ounce of extra fluid that follows. And whether you feel it or not, those choices can slowly destroy the balance your heart depends on, weakening it, overloading it, and driving it toward a breaking point you may never see coming. No one is saying you must remove every can from your pantry, but your heart deserves honesty. And honesty reveals that the syrup-turning fruit into a sweet comfort is the very thing damaging your heart from the inside out. With age, the margin for error grows thin. Each decision matters more now than it ever did before. And if canned fruit and syrup can impose this much strain, imagine the danger in fruit that slips past every warning label because it's marketed as pure, natural, and heart-healthy, yet enters your bloodstream with the force of liquid sugar. That next fruit is consumed in nearly every American home, and its impact on the aging heart may be the most alarming of all. 5. Fruit juices. The liquid sweetness that can rapidly damage and exhaust an aging heart. Across America, fruit juice has long been advertised as a symbol of health. A bright glass of orange juice at breakfast, a small bottle of apple juice in a lunch bag, a refreshing sip on a warm afternoon. And for many older adults, fruit juice feels safe, gentle, even nourishing. But as the years advance and the heart grows more fragile, the very thing that makes juice taste so pleasant becomes the very thing that silently threatens the heart. Because unlike whole fruit, Juice enters the body with the force of liquid sugar, and for an aging cardiovascular system already fighting stiffness, inflammation, and reduced elasticity, that sudden surge can set off a chain of reactions capable of damaging your heart in ways you may never feel until it's too late. The danger begins the moment juice touches your bloodstream. Without fiber to slow absorption, sugar from fruit juice floods the body in minutes. This rapid spike forces your pancreas to release a surge of insulin, and your blood vessels must expand quickly to handle the sudden load. In a younger person, the vessels can adapt. But in someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, where artery walls have thickened and flexibility has decreased, that sudden demand becomes a direct physical stress. Each spike inflames the inner lining of the arteries, making them more vulnerable to plaque buildup. Over time, this chronic inflammation narrows the vessels that supply oxygen to your heart, placing it at risk of weakening or, in the worst cases, events that can destroy the heart's ability to function. For seniors living with diabetes, prediabetes, or high blood pressure, juice becomes even more dangerous. Many fruit juices, even the ones labeled 100% juice with no added sugar, contain as much sugar as soda. This liquid sugar pushes blood glucose to levels that can silently damage nerves, kidneys, and arteries. And as those arteries stiffen, the heart must pump harder against growing resistance, slowly wearing itself out. Some older adults first notice the impact as unusual fatigue, shortness of breath, or a heavy beating in the chest after meals. Others feel nothing at all, until the day their heart signals that it can no longer keep up. The emotional trap is powerful. Juice feels wholesome. It feels natural. It feels like something a doctor would approve. But the truth is, even small daily servings can become a relentless burden on an aging heart. Each glass carries a wave of sugar that the older body cannot process the way it once did. The heart, already fighting its own battles with age, becomes caught in a cycle of stress that gradually chips away at its strength. And whether or not you realize it, those daily glasses can play a role in damaging your heart's ability to protect you. This does not mean you must banish juice from your life forever, but your heart deserves caution, awareness, and choices made with intention, not habit, not nostalgia, not convenience. In these later years, every decision carries weight, and your heart feels each one more deeply than you may ever feel yourself. And if these 5 fruits, so ordinary, so familiar, can carry risks this significant, what does it tell us about the hidden vulnerabilities of the aging heart? And what steps must every senior take immediately to protect their most vital organ? The final message brings all these warnings together into the essential truth every older adult needs to hear. The truth your heart needs you to hear before it's too late. As we reach our 60s, 70s, and 80s, the heart we carry within us is no longer the same heart that pushed us through childhood, raising families, and decades of hard work. It becomes more delicate, more vulnerable, and more easily overwhelmed by the choices we once made without a second thought. The surprising dangers found in everyday fruits, grapefruit, bananas, dried fruits, canned fruits in syrup, and fruit juices, are not meant to frighten you, but to awaken you to a truth that too many older adults learn only after a crisis. Even familiar foods can quietly damage your heart when age, medications, and chronic conditions change how your body responds. The message is not to fear fruit. It is to respect the reality that your heart lives with a smaller margin for error now. Each spike in blood sugar, each surge in potassium, each hidden load of syrup or sodium places strain on an organ that has already served you faithfully for a lifetime. And just as your heart has carried you through every joy and hardship, it now needs something from you in return: awareness, intentionality, and the willingness to make choices that protect its strength rather than destroy it. No one can see inside their own arteries. No one feels plaque forming or electrical signals weakening, but the damage is real and it is preventable. You cannot change the years behind you, but you can shape the years ahead by treating your heart with the caution and care it has earned. And now that you understand the hidden risks in these daily foods, the next question becomes unavoidable. What steps can older adults take today, right now, to protect their heart and restore the strength they still have? These lessons are meant to inspire you to live fully and authentically. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. Let's support each other on this journey toward embracing these truths. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot to us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to living life on your own terms.